Good day. Today I will talk about the composition of accounting work in a professional accounting practice or in an accounting and or finance department of a medium to large organization in New Zealand and Kuwait. As an accounting student, I believe that understanding what accountants do on a day-to-day basis, whether they be from an accounting firm or from an accounting department of an organization, is important since it will enable me to determine what sets of skills, most of which I have obtained in university, would I need in my profession as an accountant in the future. Moreover, realizing the different tasks accountants perform will enable me to determine what type of accounting work I would like to specialize in. I also believe that a lot of misconceptions about accounting still exist today, and that these misconceptions need to be eliminated. For example, being an accountant is dull and monotonous since all they do is manage taxes or prepare financial statements, or that accounting is a male dominated field where social skills are non existent. For this presentation, I will start by defining what accounting is and its significance and limitations. Then I would like to go over the branches of accounting and what accountants are expected to do in each branch using secondary information available on the internet. Afterwards, I shall talk about the results of my interviews with accountants in New Zealand and Kuwait in order to supplement my understanding of what accountants do. So what is accounting? Accounting operates within a broad socioeconomic environment. Thus, the knowledge that is required from an accountant could not be compartmentalized. In general, however, accounting can be defined as the process of identifying, measuring, and communicating economic information to permit informed judgment and decision by users of the information. This is according to the American Accounting Association. So what information is this pertaining to? Well, this could pertain to profit generated by the company for a certain span of time, how much they owe to third parties, or how much the entity currently has, or are they able to pay their obligations when they become due, and the inflow and outflow of cash for the year, and other quantitative and qualitative information. With that being said, we can say that accounting is the language of business. This is because accounting provides useful and timely information about the financial activities of an individual, business, or organization. It provides such information to interested parties who uses accounting information in assessing the performance and condition of a business relevant to decision making. Without accounting, there is no easier and concise way to understand the transactions or financial resorts of operations and conditions of an individual, business, or organization. Accounting therefore makes it easier for interested parties to understand the business operation just by looking at the accounting reports. However, based on the definition above, it comes to no surprise that any individual who is not fully knowledgeable about accounting would perceive accountants to merely just be bookkeepers since they simply record and present financial information. However, it is worth noting that there's more to this than what accountants do. In fact, there are several branches of accounting that exist. These are financial accounting, management accounting, auditing, government accounting, accounting systems installation, tax accounting, fund accounting, forensic accounting, to name a few. Since it would be too lengthy discussing what accountants do in each branch, I have decided to choose three branches of interest to discuss, and these are financial accounting, auditing, and forensic accounting. So what is financial accounting? Well, according to the Office of the Auditor General website, a financial accountant contributes to the development and implementation of the departmental accounting systems, policies, and procedures. They support the department through the collection, processing, recording, reconciliation, and reporting of financial data, and verifying the validity, completeness, and accuracy of source documentation. They maintain complete and proper records of revenue, expenditure, assets, and liability, and ensure the accuracy and integrity of financial information. This is similar to the definition that I mentioned earlier. What about auditing? Well, there are internal and independent audit and external auditors. What is the difference? Well, an internal auditor works within a business and organization to monitor and evaluate how well risks are being managed, the business, and if the business is being governed well, and if the internal processes are working. They also provide a consulting service, and they advise management on how to improve systems and processes. Examples of the activities they perform are attending meetings with auditees to develop an understanding of business processes, searching and assessing how well risk management processes are working, providing support and guidance to management on how to handle new opportunities, and manage a variety of stakeholders and their expectations through regular communication. On the other hand, an external auditor is a qualified accountant who produces independent professional reviews, making sure that the information collated and submitted provides a true and fair view of the organization's past financial performance and current financial position. So, some of the things that auditors do are examine interim and end of year accounts, they collect and review financial account and other operational data, they conduct departmental reviews and reviewing key personnel about working practices, they identify and record material and significant errors or variations from standards, and they assess financial risk control and prepare clear and concise audit reports eventually. Finally, a forensic accountant specializes in analyzing and investigating financial statements and reports for signs of irregularities, which may indicate fraud. In fraud cases, forensic accountants will reconstruct the events and activities involved in financial wrongdoings. Forensic accountants also create presentation in support of legal cases and may be called upon to testify in court regarding their findings. Common tasks for forensic accountants include auditing records, investigating inconsistencies, tracing assets, and interviewing individuals who created, contributed to, or reviewed recorded records under analysis. Forensic accountants may also do electronic discovery and record prevention. So, as you can see, even though I just mentioned a few of the branches of accounting, a lot of skills are necessary for an accountant, and there's actually more to just bookkeeping and just making your taxes. For instance, an accountant, based on what I've researched, needs to be confident and professional, needs to be able to understand and apply technical skills, and most importantly, needs to have excellent interpersonal skills, which is usually the common misconceptions. So, in order to supplement the information I have gathered, I would like to discuss the interviews I have conducted with accountants from Kuwait and New Zealand that specialize in different branches. So the first person I interviewed was Mr. Angus Peary. Mr. Peary is an external auditor working for PKF Goldsmith Fox, which is a small-size accounting firm based in Christchurch, New Zealand. Before asking him the composition of his work, I first asked him why he chose to become an auditor. Well, he said that the reason he chose auditing was because it was the only thing available to him as a graduate. However, he did mention that he was glad that he came to audit as the skills needed to be in audit are the ones that he enjoys developing. This is because audit involves a fair amount of challenges in terms of applying the correct financial statement to the information and ensuring that others have applied the correct methods. It can be like detective work, as he mentioned, where he needs to obtain sufficient evidence and need to hunt it out. Audit can also involve a fair bit of face time with the clients, and it is nice to be able to meet the clients and discuss the business with them. As to what he does on a day-to-day basis, he mentioned that he audits retirement village, mostly small owner-operated ones, since his firm specializes in this. Since the firm has a flat structure, he often has clients that only he and the audit partner has to deal with. This is in contrast to larger firms where a whole team of partner, manager, senior, and junior auditors may be involved in the same engagement. That being said, it means that this gives him some more responsibility to his role. His role includes audit planning, testing, and providing an audit opinion. He mentioned that the planning stage involves learning about the client and assessing the risk of material misstatement that may exist with that particular client. It is very important to make a correct risk assessment and to focus the work performed on areas of potential misstatement. This allows the audit to be quick and effective, which is very important in his firm as they need to comply with the legislation around auditing, but also perform the audit in a cost-effective manner. Then, he said that testing involves substantive testing for the most part, where he vouched transactions, balances, or presentation to supporting documentation. The other testing option is control testing, but this is not as cost-effective when dealing with smaller clients that they often deal with. Supporting documentation can be as varied as invoices that the client has provided, to complex working papers from accountants detailing the accounting estimates used in a particular area of statement and the assumptions underlying those estimates. Providing an audit opinion involves assessing the work that has been performed against the risk of material misstatement and concluding on whether sufficient work has been done to reduce the risk of misstatement to an appropriate level. They then perform and issue an audit report afterwards. The next person I interviewed was Miss Mariam Al-Duwaisan. Miss Al-Duwaisan works for Ernst& Young in Kuwait. She is part of the Transaction Advisory Service under the Valuation and Business Modeling stream. When asked why she opted to become an accountant, she mentioned that accounting offers many career opportunities. This is because an accountant can become a management consultant, a corporate accountant, an auditor, or a transaction advisor, to mention a few. Moreover, accounting is financially rewarding since the salaries of most accountants are usually high. She also mentioned that becoming a female accountant in Kuwait enabled her to be better respected and appreciated due to the prestige associated with this line of profession. When asked what her job composes of, she said that she and her team do business valuations and feasibility studies for clients. Business valuations can be for investment purposes, financial reporting, sale of an asset, or part of a bigger transaction. The market assessment and feasibility studies are for people who want to establish a new business and want to see if the project is feasible and lucrative. If so, they go ahead with the investment, otherwise, they stop exploring that option further. According to her, at times the clients invite them to work for a job. Otherwise, the clients usually send requests for proposals where she and her team need to pitch for the job. They usually have to prepare proposals and tell the potential client why they should choose Ernst& Young and how they would approach the required job, the details about the team, their credentials, and the estimated fees. In other words, they basically bid for a job. The client usually ranges from public and private sector companies to high net worth individuals. Now, the next person I interviewed was Mr. Bedr Al-Kazwami. Mr. Bedr Al-Kazwami is a senior vice president in audit of the Global Investment House Kuwait. Global Investment House is a regional investment company headquartered in Kuwait offering its clients integrated investment solutions in brokerage, assets management, and investment banking services. When asked why he chose to become an accountant, he said that it was his father that wanted him to become one. At first, he did not like accounting as it was very monotonous and boring. However, once he landed a job as an in-house auditor of Global Investment House, he started to appreciate it a lot more. Not only was it financially rewarding, but he began to realize how important his knowledge is to the company. Consequently, this has made him more confident as a person. He did emphasize as well that the importance of having good communication skills, as the inability to do so often produces negative outcomes. Since they are in a very competitive industry, there should be no room for errors. When asked what he did on a daily basis at work, he said that he usually starts his day by checking emails to ensure no pending audit reports are left unresponsive. Then he meets with the team to delegate assignments or to follow up on previous tasks that need to be tackled. Once the assignment has been successfully completed, he drafts the findings to have all issues documented and filed for future references. He then discusses the report and findings with concerned parties. Usually this happens in the audit meeting. During the audit meeting, if an issue exists, they usually work with the concerned parties and try to resolve the issues. On a good day, this can be resolved in a day, but in most occasions, it usually takes a couple of days or even a few weeks. Finally, the last person which my classmate Donna Stott actually interviewed was Mr. Paul Linsky. Mr. Paul Linsky worked for PricewaterhouseCoopers New Zealand before his retirement. According to Donna, Mr. Linsky used to work in the private business accounting division of PwC as a partner. He also mentioned that he used to have 24 employees under him in his division. The private business division offers a mixture of work, including monthly reports for some clients or annual for others, depending on how much money the client was willing to spend, and depending if they had an in-house accountant that did the monthly reports for them. This is in order to ensure that their clients are able to maintain their financial integrity and to mitigate risk which could jeopardize the businesses. They also do tax returns for businesses of different sizes and tax returns for individuals who may have some investments. As for what Mr. Linsky does, Donna said that he has a responsibility to manage his division. For example, he reviews the work of his employees to ensure that it is up to company standards, and Mr. Linsky also acts as an interface with clients. Now, those were my interviews with accountants from Kuwait and New Zealand. So what have I learned from this? Well, there's actually a lot that I've realized from doing my interview. For one, I realized that accounting is very complex in that it involves several specialties from auditing to financial accounting to forensic accounting. So, and it also made me respect accountants a lot more due to the fact that they actually go through a lot of complex issues on a day-to-day basis. Furthermore, I realized that accounting is not only about only about having adequate technical skills. Rather, it's also about having really good interpersonal skills because without being able to communicate well with other people, your expertise and knowledge is of no good. As for what I want to specialize in based on what I've interviewed, I actually found auditing very interesting as it involves a lot of field work and a lot of interactions with people, which I actually enjoy doing very much. I hope that this presentation has enlightened you as much as I did, and thank you very much for listening.